Well, good folks. This is the Daryl Kirky Show on the 5th of November, 9:51 a.m. Welcome to my channel. I'm taking advice from Mr. Larry. Get out and get some sun. If it cuts out again, I'll just end the channel. My prim and proper, and my mother being Viking and English and kind of hillbilly type would never get invited to meet the Prime Minister. So that's what people who keep up appearances, shower, dress, shave, everything has to be spick and span. It's just bullshit to me. Nothing wrong with being dressed up and decent and so forth, which I can at times. I entertained throughout the world as a 5-star resorts and so forth. I used to dress up very nicely. But I've seen the corruption and all the flaws in every religion. Not one of them has got it right. Not one. We've got a world full of religion and hardly any sign of God. So it's just people that are trying to develop an image that makes them look better, feel better, and think they're better than others. I think you're better off when you detach from it all, the whole system of judgment. It really is a system of judgment. Welcome to my channel. People would say, oh, Brother Kirky, you just don't like authority. Think about it. Person who's basically, could say, court-martialed or kicked out of police force, never got in, kicked out of churches, real heretic I am. But my heart was sincere. But in religion, who claim to be sincere, there are just many who are sincerely wrong. Because you can fool the people some of the time, but you can't fool the people all the time. So I meet people that just claim they've got it right. They've got it together. They've got stability. They've got their teeth right. They've got their hair right. They look good. They wear costly apparel or nice clothes. They just totally come across as self-righteous to me, because they judge. So when you get your hands muddy, you go out and do some dirty work. Those sort of warrior Christians that are not shiny and glossy, they are not keeping up appearances. They're persecuted unto death. The light may weaken, but it doesn't go out. They're just not seeking that sort of attention. I'm not seeking attention. I am simply getting a message across because I know what's going to happen. Be it so Jesus come back sooner or later. I don't believe he's coming back tomorrow. All these false predictions being made. I think we're going to advance into a artificial intelligence society, and those who are around will be up against robot cops and everything. I believe it's just going to be such an advanced technology that we're going to be answering to machines. And they're going to be more disciplined than any human. You're under arrest. Exterminate. So it'll be back to sackcloth and rags for the true Christians. The shiny, glossy Christians are not going to know what hit them. So, storm before the calm, calm before the storm. As long as we publicly display the truth as Christians do, cry repentance and so forth, for things that are serious enough to be questioned, but not to judge people over little things. People got to survive, got to make it through to the next payday or something. Religion is just trying to perfect you. Well, when I say religion, I have to refer to my former religion, Mormonism, all about perfecting oneself. Everything ship up, or is it shape up or ship out? Everything is a judgment. Everything is a sin. When you go back before King James Bible to the very first century teachings, Jesus never said any of this sort of nonsense. He just said, love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and love your neighbor, love yourself, and thou shalt not kill. And everything else falls into place. So there are a lot of people hiding behind the Bible study, the cloth, rituals, cathedrals, buildings. I just think it's a pile of rubbish, nonsense. Full of bloody Nazis and bloody power freaks. When I saw that movie Sound of Music, that German guy, before he became a Nazi, was in love with one of the daughters of a military guy. He was retired. And it was an absolute romantic, beautiful moment. I've been to that actual glass house near the lake when they sang the song, I am 16 going on 17, da 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 da, and he was 17. Absolute love, and yet he turned into a Nazi, and he turned against her, and he was going to kill her because she wouldn't become a Nazi. That's religion. In the name of God, prophets, popes, and priests, you will turn against your own mother and have her stoned to death. It is an empire, and it's all about one world government takeover. Every single one of them. Talk about gullible. You can be part of it, but you don't have to believe all of it. But no, you can't achieve the full measure of its stature without believing everything. I've been rejected in working in schools because, be it Presbyterian or Catholic or whatever, because I ask me all these questions. Do you believe in this particular faith? And I get the questions wrong because I ain't going to lie. And I don't get the job. But yet the Muslims took me as a teacher. I didn't have to be a Muslim. So I got more respect from the Muslims than I did from the freaking Christian schools. We had a comet, disappeared. Now, I may take a break after this for a while. Time to fast, detox, whatever. So there will be no public display. For how long, I don't know. It could be 3 days, could be 3 weeks, could even be 3 months. I say that, but it could come out pretty back. I don't know. Normally when I take a break, I don't smoke or anything. I go through a lot of pain, and a lot of prayer, a lot of rebuke, and that's for a time. There's a time for this and a time for that. Time to live and a time to die, actually. Also a time to laugh and a time to cry. And I changed the frequency because my videos have a lot of repetition, not from any textbook, from the heart, but same old message. And it's not what I say, it's how I say it. And I'm saying it very intellectually at the moment, as I have been for a while. So that kind of pisses people off, because people want to feel something, but then again, the heart can be wickedly deceptive. Get deceived by feelings. And when I did get caught up in the spirit and I was weeping in tears, 2 Mormons attacked me on my channel. Because Mormons are very manipulative with feelings. They converted by feelings without any evidence. I know this Book of Mormon is true. I know that Joseph Smith restored the priesthood to the earth so we could have eternal marriage, eternal sex, and become gods. Populate worlds without number. A reward too good to refuse. Take away that reward, most fall into a heap, become atheist. They were never Christian in the first place. They may believe, but so does the demons believe. A lot of people I know in America, Australia, military people that have been Mormon, disciplined, they love it. Some leave, get kicked out, whatever, then they become batshit crazy, go around shoot Mormons. I don't want my videos to incite that, but that discipline is very worldly in my books. I don't care how righteous you are and how prim and proper you are. I don't care if you're all squeaky clean. To me, it's nothing but filthy rags. So you get people on this channel, it could be somebody I know, a Mormon, who knows, take a bath, have a shave, put a tie, put a suit on, have a shave, do this, do that. Otherwise, people don't take you seriously. So if somebody gives me a thumbs up and say, Kirky, I accept you as you are. Yeah, I know. A lot of shiny, glossy pastors out there and so forth with millions of views, leave you for dead. I cried for help once. The comment above was answered, the comment below was answered, but a comment that was relating to suicide and, real depression was ignored. People want stability, they want peace so much that they'll be deceived when the Antichrist comes because he'll be a peacemaker. The world wants peace. Yeah, right. With Third World War coming, there won't be any peace. There will be for a short time, deception, and then the Antichrist will cut your friggin' head off, kill all the Christians. We're in battle, but we're not fighting for victory. We are fighting from victory. Jesus Christ has already won the battle. It's got nothing to do with how shiny, glossy, shave or no shave, or have a bath or no bath, or get some sunshine or not. You could be locked up in a cave or in a cell, anything, tortured. It's coming. That'll all happen before Jesus comes. That Jesus ain't coming back. And I don't believe in this rapture thing so much. It's pre-rapture, mid-rapture, or at the end of the world rapture. There's no such word in the Bible called rapture. It's called Darbyism, sensationalism. If people are taken up, they're taken up. But the warriors will be left behind. And we may be running to the hills. Well, you may not see it now. You can still be part of structured civilized society and have the robot cops come around and rescue, and you do exactly as said. Okay, I may be exaggerating for now, but not in the future. It's slowly coming in. So Jesus ain't coming back. He ain't going to save you. Not yet. If you're not prepared to be left behind, you ain't going to know what hit you. John MacArthur, the great John MacArthur, the Baptist guy, he was wrong when he said everybody's damned if they're left behind. Those left behind will give their head, will govern the earth with Moses and 144,000 throughout the 1,000 years. Those taken up, the Bible says, will complain a bit because they are sippy cup Christians who were so weak, but God took them up because they were pure in heart. And they do not get to govern the earth. So you're not damned when you're left behind. But if you don't give your head, you will be damned. That is the final straw. Because if you read all these lost books and things, you might discover that that prophecy is all bullshit. The last prophecy won't happen. Because we just enter into an advanced technical society of robots and artificial intelligence, and the world goes on as is. But we sell ourselves out anyway. We corrupt our own soul with power and rank and position, or giving praise to man, prophet, pope, priest, whatever. If you can't beat them, you join them. And if there's no Christ, then what does it all lead to? It's called principle. There are those who are not even Christian who would never commit crimes and things, even if there's no Jesus. I tested my father out once, who was a staunch atheist. I said if he had 6 months to live and he had a $50,000 credit card, would he go out and spend it and trip around the world, have a good time, and then just die and not have to pay it back? He says, out of principle, I would not do that. It's dishonest. So we're going to live in a world full of dishonesty, which already is to a certain degree. There are going to be people that will sell their souls out. As far as hereafter goes, I don't know what the curse is, what the reward is, or what happens. I know the Buddhists believe if you kill an animal, you come back as an animal, or cockroach, or disabled cockroach or something, you kill them. I don't go to that extreme. I just say that there's going to be some type of justice. I don't know exactly how, but some type of judgment. The books get thrown at you. Anyone that's got fruits can receive a lesser reward. I don't know, but you've got to have all the fruits to get to the highest realm of heaven, which Mormons claim is to become gods, and that heaven that they're aiming for. They themselves are so squeaky clean, self-righteous, glossy and shiny that it's sickening to the core. That's like a Nazi empire drinking out of a fancy cup, like in that movie Raiders of the Lost Ark. They thought that the King of Kings would drink out of a fancy cup. He was a carpenter and he drank out of a wooden cup. So they dipped the fancy cup into the holy water, drank it, and was zapped, dead. So you got it wrong, you people out there. All you shiny, glossy, sharp-shooting, bloody, spick and span Christians out there who would judge a person because he hasn't had a shave, or he hasn't had a bath, or, looking a bit pale or something. It's just ridiculous. It's just really sick. Nothing wrong with having a bath and a shave and everything. That reminds me of a joke. What's the best place to hide a $10 bill in England? What is the best place to hide a $10 bill in England? Under a bar of soap. Because it's so freaking cold that they don't take a bath very often. So they can just hide the money under the bloody soap. Why do birds fly upside down in England? Now, don't get me wrong, I've got English blood in me. Why do birds fly upside down in England? Because the Poms or the British aren't worth shitting on. That's very offensive, isn't it? Very discriminating. No, it's just a joke, okay? So take a joke. Again, the prim and proper will say, oh no, you're going to hell for that, you're going to burn. What do you get when you crossbreed an Aussie, Australian man with an ape? Crossbreed, have sex with an ape. You get a retarded ape. Again, I used to say Irish, but yeah, knocked off the bar stool. People take offence. Nun jokes, priest jokes, whatever jokes. You just don't tell it to a fundamental Catholic or whatever. I don't think any of this has got anything to do with salvation. There may be higher rewards for how much you love people, and if you've got respect, you're not going to tell a naughty joke, a dirty joke to a bloody fundamental Catholic or somebody, you know. I don't know. I just don't get caught up in it. But many people do. So there are people in war zones right now, soldiers ready to go out and kill in battle. And they might happen to have a phone on them, and they might just see my videos. One or two have been contacted. They're in a situation they cannot escape. Some feel guilty. Some don't. They don't know what happens hereafter. They may have a faith or belief, but no one knows until you get there. So in the Western world, we've got it rather easy to some degree, but it's hard too, paying mortgages and jobs and situations, and you've got to have insurance and all sorts of things. But there are people that are starving, and people in war zones, and people being killed and so forth, and yet they are trying to hold on to their faith as much as they can. It's not a joke to them, but it's a joke to a lot of Western people who make threats, who bully, do all sorts of things, but they've never been in a war zone. It's just all, I don't know, it's just all threats and false security. I always see myself like Indiana Jones from the original Star Wars. He was flying his spaceship with that goggly-eyed, bloody cuddly bear alien. No uniform, no rank, no position, but he could fly that spaceship. He was not part of Space Federation. He was an outsider. And from a Christian point of view, Jesus said, leave that man be. He's an outsider. He's preaching my word and healing the sick. And Peter chastised the outsider, said to Jesus, he's not one of us. He's not in the club. So in other words, is he not saved? You want to be in the club and give the church your tithing and your money and believe that you're robbing God if you don't, when you could help the poor, and be kicked out of your positions. Digital technologies come into the Mormon church almost, where somebody's tripping all over the world, temple hopping. They get to the temple and they get denied because 2 weeks ago they didn't pay their tithing, and it comes up on the computer or the chip or whatever it is on the phone or anything. And they've just travelled, say, to Hawaii or somewhere. Denied. You didn't pay tithing, you're not worthy. During the Second World War, a Japanese guy went to bomb the temple in Hawaii. He couldn't see it, it disappeared. So he didn't drop the bomb, he couldn't locate it. he became a Mormon, a Japanese Mormon, saying it must be the true church because the temple disappeared. You don't have to be a Mormon to have things disappear. God protects all. Maybe he did protect the Mormons at one stage. Seagulls flew in 1,000 miles and ate the crickets who were eating the crops, and they were starving. And seagulls don't fly 1,000 miles inland. This is pioneer history. So God protected the Mormons. He protects anyone that has a faith in him, even if they have faith in a Hollywood Jesus, they still believe in Jesus. So yeah, keeping up appearances. There was a show on British TV. It was quite funny. My dad's favourite show, Keeping Up Appearances. And the other one was called Some Mothers Do Have 'Em. He just loved it. This idiot jerk, like a little boy married to this gorgeous girl. And every job he got, he lost it. He's clumsy, he used to fall over and break things. And it was a funny show. He used to say, you remember the line, "Oh, Betty, I'm a failure. I'm a failure." Everything he did, he failed. It was just a comedy. Loved it. My dad loved it too because he just loved to take the mickey out of him. He said, "Look at that twit. Look at that idiot." But he used to love the actor. His name was Michael Crawford. He was in the Phantom of the Opera. He's a great singer. He's a very serious man in real life. Of course, there's Benny Hill, but that's been banned. He was a bit of a sex addict type of guy, but he made a lot of funny TV shows. Very funny. British humour is a lot more funny than American humour. Then there was another mob called the Carry On Gang. Carry On Doctor, Carry On Cabbie, which is a taxi driver, Carry On, you name it. The whole Carry On Gang were very famous and very funny movies. The British are very talented. Even Doctor Who, which is sci-fi, they are just amazing. So I agree with my dad there. British humour is a lot more laughable than American humour. One of the most dumbass bloody TV shows I've ever watched is The Big Bang Theory. People get off on it. The millions they make doing that. I don't know what's that all about. That's not funny to me. It's just stupid. Now, why am I talking about all this? I'm trying to lighten up here because too many people are taking themselves too seriously. We take life seriously, but we don't take ourselves seriously. So we do need to lighten up. Sometimes you need to shave a beard. Sometimes you have a haircut. Sometimes you let it all grow wild, Who cares? I'm like a snake shedding skin. I'm about to dye my hair black and everything. For some reason, I don't know why. My dad had black hair. I was born blonde, but I look more decent when I have black hair. I don't know, but some people like it. It doesn't matter. Steve Martin, he was flying around in his buggy, I would call it, his golf cart in Hollywood studios. I used to attend there. I was in one episode of Star Trek. I got the video. It was an audition. It didn't pass, but I blew up the Klingon ship. But Steve Martin, with his white hair and he's tall, he was in a movie called Cheaper by the Dozen. He's a very funny actor. And Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. He was this con man and he got conned by a very famous con artist woman who fell in love with him and everything. And of course, Steve Martin posed as an idiot in a wheelchair, crippled, and he wasn't. As a naval officer and everything. Anyway, he got sucked in and she ripped off him and ripped off thousands of others, and she owned a bloody cruise ship or something. It's like it's millions of dollars worth of scamming. Very professional. Deceived by feelings, even fall in love and everything. And I think they really do fall in love. Like a bit of a James Bond movie, Catwoman. It's a Catwoman, James Bond woman fall in love. She's the enemy. She's the spy. She might be Russian. They fall in love, then she gets killed because she's betrayed the Russians or something. Then you got Batman and Catwoman, and they have this, they're enemies sort of thing, but they come together and make passionate love. And, you know, I've slept with the enemy. I slept with a terrorist by accident. Yep, that was only a few times in my life. And then I tried to convert her to become a Christian, took her to church, everything. She was a communist, a militant one, and then my father was indirectly murdered. So that's a price I paid for that. So I've been there, done it. She killed 27 mafia bosses. She had me around the throat one night, ready to do a bit of a snap of the neck. Then she says, "Oh, my people protect you," but they didn't. And she got into trouble. She got kicked out, deported, fake visa, fake passport. See, so I've had it from the neo-Nazi in the Mormon church to the Muslims, the terrorists, and to the Chinese communists. And then the Russians come involved and protected me for a time against the Chinese communists. But out of all of them, I'd have to say the Chinese communists will probably be the worst. The militant ones, and I'm not talking general communists, they're Christian communists who don't have a Bible and they still preach, and you know what I mean? They don't even have a Bible, they still preach. It's called the Church of Almighty God. And they came on my channel once. Lots of them. So they're amazing faith, religion in China. But see, there are people who do not believe at all. They're really atheists to the core, and they'll be sending missiles up to kill Jesus and his angels, and they'll be killed in the end. Until then, you don't have to believe in anything. Just eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we die. I don't mind people chastising me out of love. I don't mind that at all. I'm here to grow and become more humble, and sometimes I need to listen to people too. But you've got to take the speck out of your own eye before you take it out of mine. So this might be my last video for a while, I don't know. It's time for a change, and I do believe in change. Yes, Larry, I do believe in change. But I'm grateful for those people who are positive, come on my channel and actually help me. In our fallen condition, we don't know anything. We don't even know what love is. It's just that I've had this near-death angel experiences when I was 7 and more than once, and I entered into the spirit level, and my spirit knows. And we are here to remember who we are, the grandest, best version of ourselves. But the fallen condition is nothing but a farm animal, a cockroach. So when people attack me, they're just being farm animals and cockroaches. It's not the real them. It's a demon behind that. If you can reach their spirit, like my brother tried to stab me once, he dropped the weapon. And I picked up a photo of him as a little kid and said, "What are you doing to my brother?" I love my little brother. He didn't know what was going on. I was talking to his spirit, which is innocent. But his soul was consumed by Satan. He never drank again after that, but he was still an atheist. Still a bastard. It doesn't always work. It may not work. But some people are so hard-hearted, they'll still shoot you. You forgive your enemy, 90% will leave you alone, 10% will still want to harm you. But you've got to forgive your enemies. Now I'm sitting out here today, there's no electricity, there's maintenance across the road and that, and I have no electricity for the next 4 hours. Beautiful day here in Australia. I think this country is blessed because it's not pagan, like witchcraft and that sort of stuff. I know it goes on, but it's very uncommon in the workforce. It's just fighting and carrying on, but it's not witchcraft. I got a friend overseas. They're pulling their hair out and everything because she's a Christian, and they're all kind of into witchcraft and pagan stuff and voodoo and stuff, ripping her bloody hair out and everything, and putting curses on her every day. That's why I think God allows Satan to cause all these sicknesses and tragedies, unexpected cyclones and typhoons and everything. They're into friggin' idol worship. God hates that, right? So that's worse than me having a smoke. That's worse than a lot of things. You must love God with all your heart, soul. What is it? Heart, soul, mind, I think. Yeah. Have no other gods before me. And people that have the fruits of the Spirit who may not be Christian, but they're practicing love and empathy and thou shalt not kill and all that, they're not doing witchcraft. They're not idol worshipping in that sense. Those ones, but they're just sort of, they just haven't come to the real Jesus. That'll be taken into account. It's when your false deities cause you to murder or kill little baby infants or something, sacrifice them to the gods. That's why God took them out. You know, they're better off dead. When you start messing around with witchcraft and all that sort of hocus pocus, that displeases God. I believe that, well, it's just, you know, you're barking up the wrong tree for sure. I said they may do a lot of stupid things, but I don't know anyone practicing witchcraft. So God blesses this country. America's built on witchcraft. Though it's a powerful nation, but it's hanging by a thread. It'll go down. Australia will probably go down eventually too. But in the meantime, this is God's footstool. Australia is God's footstool. For how long, I don't know. So all you people out there that are into black magic, cult, witchcraft, everything, priestcraft, you wonder why all these tragedies are happening and curses. You can't fool God. You can't manipulate God. Some people think we are God, God. So you're choosing the positive polarity or the negative polarity, whatever. Somebody contacted me just recently and said, your friend Aaron Apke from the Essenes teacher, a man who's my friend, he's into idol worship. I says, what for? Because he's got a statue, looks like Buddha, but it's actually Jesus in meditation position. They don't worship statues. Aaron Apke made it quite clear that the whole idolatry is the curse that came upon the people. He doesn't worship friggin' idols and statues. He just sees Christ as the highest level guru, master above the astral planes, and they've got a statue of him as like a Buddha sitting in meditation position. He is not worshipping false gods. He's not worshipping in that sense of anything, because Jesus didn't come to be worshipped so much. He didn't come for our righteousness. He came to awaken us, to enter into his righteousness, where the great I am is working through you. I am. Divinity right there. He's the law and we live the spirit of the law. So there is divinity within us. And if you have that divinity and that spark and that love and compassion, you don't kill anyone, except out of self-defense. If you hate yourself, demons are going to get in. If your religion tells you you're a piece of shit because you don't have a shave, you don't take a bath, or this and that and throw people out because they stink or something like in the Mormon church happened many times. Who are vain? Who's the vain? Who's the hypocrites here? Who's the Pharisees? And you'll kill for it too. You just don't want to smudge the image of the church. It's all about protecting the image of the church, giving glory to either Mormon prophets, to Papa Pope, defend to the kill. You've been brainwashed. You're a Nazi, or a Jesuit, or a Danite, which is a Mormon Nazi, or Mormon Jesuit. You can't think for yourself. I'm not trying to belittle you. I'm trying to wake you up. But you look at me and say, oh, he hasn't had a shave, he hasn't had a bath, he hasn't done this, he hasn't done that. Why should I listen to him? Or he gets angry, he's miserable, he's complaining. Yet I forgive my enemy. I went through every type of terror you can think of for decades. Wife, a correspondent, war correspondent, death row and everything. Went through the whole friggin' thing, but it was the church that broke us. Of course I forgive him. But I aren't going to let him walk over me again. I would rather go to prison than put up with that shit. I would. Even my ex said that. You take it out on your wife or your husband. You've been stood on, crushed like an insect. You've been belittled. You've been squashed. You cannot let these neo-Nazi bloody Mormons to bloody Jesuits in the Catholic Church or whatever power in position rank stand over you. You're a heretic, yes, but so are they. They're the heretics. Who killed millions?